Can't leave my camera here, can I? Welcome back to the vlog. Today we're going through ways to make your whip hand transitions even better. Oh! I just smacked that into my lens. That's why. That's why I use UV filters. Because that just looks alright. So first things first is, what is a whip hand transition? So basically at the end of one clip you'll move rapidly in one direction, creating a load of motion blur across your image. At the start of your next clip you'll whip into it, causing loads of motion blur at the start of the shot, and then in post you'll put those two images together so the blur effectively merges together, it blurs together. And it's a really effective way to just spice up your videos. It's a really easy transition to do and it's quite a popular one, but there's a few things you can do to make your transitions even better and stand out from the rest. Okay, so the first thing you can do to make your transitions even better is to whip into and then out of the same direction. If you are whipping down and in your next clip you're whipping up, it works. You can, as long as you still get enough blur in there, it still will work, but it just feels very unnatural because the camera's moving downwards and then all of a sudden it's moving upwards, and it can be almost disorientating for the viewer to watch it, and it's not quite as effective and it doesn't feel as smooth. So make sure if you're whipping to your left, you're starting from whipping from the right, and then you blur the shots together and it just feels more natural. It feels like you're moving in one direction. Next tip, which we're going to talk about in a second, is don't do the same direction too many times. Okay. So yeah, the next tip is to not do too many whip hands in the same direction consecutively. So the reason you don't want to do this is if you're constantly going, panning into your left and then out of the right and into left and out of the right, you do this too many times in a row, it can actually be really disorientating and make your viewers feel a bit dizzy if it's too fast. So you want to make sure you're mixing up your movements. So if you whip to the left, you're panning in from the right, maybe then go up and then start at the bottom. And then maybe you could do another one of them if you want to. You can do it a couple times. And then on the next one maybe come up and then back to the right, and then you pan in that way. Mix up your movements and it makes it feel a lot more dynamic. It also makes it feel a lot more sort of like natural. It doesn't feel robotic that you've just constantly done the same ones over and over and over again, and it's just mixes it up, keeps your viewers on edge without making them feel like they're on edge and without making them feel dizzy. And that's the main thing. You wanna, if you're gonna be using this transition, especially if you're gonna be using it in the way I do, where I'm showing the passing of time and movement between places, you're going to use it a lot because it's really effective, but you don't want them to be dizzy, you don't want them to click off it because it makes them feel sick. So don't do that. So the next tip is make sure you're whipping into and out of similar colours, or at the very least similar lighting. So if I whip you into this tree, that's a bad example. So if I'm out, so for example, say I'm out in that field and I whip into the field, and my motion blurred part of the video is bright green and really light, but then I whip out of this tree, which will be, if I'm really close to it, it'll be almost black, really dark. It makes the cut more noticeable. If you blur it enough and if you use some additional transitions within post, like the cross dissolve, you can get away with it and you can blur it in. But if you don't do it good enough, it's going to be really noticeable, and it just doesn't feel as natural anyway. So you want to make sure you're trying to whip in and out of similar colours and or lighting environments. That's pretty. Similar lighting environments to make sure it feels the most natural and smooth as it can. Let's go explore this thing. I've been in this route a few times, but I've never seen this. Damn, oh my god, I almost just fell down. Wow. Should we get a photo? Of course, she has to go get in it. Oh, she's soaked. Why are you like this? Why are you like this? Oh, that's so much. What the hell? Okay, I don't know how you found that. Oh, that's so muddy. You are gross. Okay, do not splash me. Do not splash me. What? Why have you got... It's bigger than you. Okay. See you later then. Ew. Okay, so we're actually now going to go into... Oh God. We're actually now going to go into the field I just spoke about because I need her to dry off, to be honest. She ain't getting in my car like this. Okay, I've mounted you on a very sketchy place. There you go. I'll show you how sketchy that is. So my next tip is to make sure that you have enough blur to play around with in post. So if you're whipping, make sure you're doing it enough, like do a really, basically, do a really over-exaggerated whip. I'm trying to record here. Do a really over-exaggerated whip, because that way it gives you loads of motion blur to play with. Probably a different range of colours. So if I started whipping here, I'm going to have the darkness of this tree, but then the lightness of this field, and it just gives me loads of colours to play around with. It makes it in post, if you're then editing, to make it easier to combine it with the next shot. She's still trying to dry herself off from getting in that. It makes it easier to combine the images, combine the clips in post, because you're then got, yeah, as I say, you've got different lighting situations and different colours that you can play around with and find the blurry sections that fit together the easiest. Get off the tree. Ugh. No. Okay. So my final tip for whip pans is specifically if you are wanting to whip pan into your drone. Now, you can control the gimbal, depending on, obviously it depends on what the drone you've got. I'm talking about standard drones, cinematic drones instead of FPV drones. But usually you have a button which can recenter your gimbal. So if it's facing down, facing up, or you don't even know which direction it's facing. Hello. I'm trying to record here. If you don't know which, get your butt out the frame. If you don't know which direction your gimbal is facing, you usually have a button which will flick it back to center. That, I find, is the best way to whip pan a drone instead of manually trying to, I don't know what that was, instead of manually trying to recenter the gimbal using the sliders. What I'm talking about doing here is I'm showing off this viewpoint here with my camera, and then I want to whip pan transition up into the sky. You're going to get the full range of the land in front of me and then the blue of the sky coming into this frame. So then on my drone, I'm going to face my gimbal and my camera straight down. I'm then going to hit the recenter button, which is going to flick my gimbal up into the recenter position. And I'm using 30 FPS in my drone, so that's going to cause motion blur as the gimbal flicks up, which I'm then going to use in post to match these two shots together, and it's then going to whip pan transition onto my drone. We're having technical difficulties because I haven't used the drone DJI Go 4 app in so long that it's uninstalled from my phone to save space. But I have like I've got 1 bar of signal, so it's taken like 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes to download like 20%. So it looks like we're gonna be sat here for a minute. She doesn't walk in front of it when I'm not filming. So okay, so I'm in drone right now. We've got it up in the air. I'm facing straight down. So if I now hit my recenter button, see that really quickly pans my gimbal up. So that means I can use this trick to then whip pan in. So I've already filmed the whip pan on the camera. So if I hit that and then start panning sideways like that, boom, I can show off that clip. Fast spin it, and I can use that clip now to whip pan back out of the drone onto the camera into a whip pan transition sideways. Okay, so I think at this point Izzy's kind of done with me filming this vlog. I'm just sitting around flying the drones, talking to the camera. So we're going to start heading back to the car. But they are my 5 tips for improving your drone. Nope, That's not what this drone was. This drone, oh my god, drone. Here are my 5 tips for improving your whip pan transitions, either in mirrorless DSLR cameras or on your iPhone. Obviously iPhone, if you're doing it specifically for Instagram stories, you're probably doing portrait, not landscape shots, but all these principles work the same, and I really hope you found this helpful. So there's a few different apps you can use for this. I usually do it on Premiere Pro on my laptop, to be honest with you, or Premiere Rush on my iPhone. It's a lot easier to do. I personally prefer it to iMovie. You can use iMovie, and there's a load of other third-party apps you can use to do this. But basically, trim your clip down so the ending of the clip is the blur at the point you want it. Trim your other clip down so the start is the blur, end is the blur if you're doing a second one. Put them together. If you want to try and improve this a little bit, put a really quick cross-dissolve transition in the middle of those 2 clips, and it'll blur them together even better. If you want a full tutorial on this, let me know, comment below. I can make a really quick video, and we'll just go through the exact post-processing stuff to create whip pan transitions. It's a really good transition, I really like it. I need to use it more, to be honest. But yeah, either way, I'm out of breath, hang on a minute. Okay, that's better. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do want me to make a video on how to do the post-processing side of whip pan transitions, let me know, because it's really easy, and I can show you, take you guys through it and how to make them as good as you can. I hope you found this one interesting. If you did, drop a thumbs up down below, it massively helps me out. Subscribe to join the community, support the channel, hit the notification bell so you're notified when I post new videos. And that's all from me. I'll see you next video. Don't forget to take the shot. Look what we can do today. Peace. Nailed it. Didn't even faff it. Go on, son. Yellow. She got a stick.